A very good morning and welcome for the discussion today. So my friends, in the last session we discussed about the cyclone, both tropical and temperate cyclone. Today we'll look at one topic here known as the anticyclone. Anticyclone. What are anticyclones? Opposite to the cyclone is the anticyclone. So anticyclones are high pressure conditions. Okay. So please note down here. Anticyclones, these are high pressure cells associated with the divergence of air, associated with the divergence of air. They are associated with the divergence of the air from the center towards the periphery. So these are high pressure cells associated with the divergence air from the center towards its periphery. From center to periphery there is divergence of the air. Again I am saying these are high pressure cells associated with the divergence of air from the center towards the periphery, towards its periphery. These are called as the anticyclone. Okay. So look at here. If we have a pressure cell here, let us say in this case you have highest pressure at here at the middle part, and the highest pressure here is, let us say, 1000 millibar. This is 990 millibar, 980 millibar, like this type of pressure you have. Highest pressure at the center. It means there is a divergence of air in this case. You know it? Divergence of the air from here toward this side. So it shows if there is a divergence of the air. So if there is divergence of the air, it is high pressure here. So if there is gradual divergence of the air from the center towards the periphery, if it is like this, then definitely there is a consequence of this one will be the sinking of the air from above. We will have sinking of the air from above, right? Sinking of the air from above. To maintain equilibrium, sinking of air is there. Sinking of air, here is divergence, here it is divergence. So you think about this condition in which there is a divergence of the air, mean there is like gradual, the air here is going away from the center towards the periphery. Okay. High pressure at the middle and low pressure toward the, if it is northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere, based on this it is different. direction of the flow or whirling of the wind. I have already discussed this in the pressure belt and wind system. Due to Coriolis force, high pressure center in northern hemisphere, it will be in a clockwise manner. In southern hemisphere, in a anti-clockwise manner. I hope you remember that. So the anticyclones are clockwise in northern hemisphere, anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere. This is the anticyclone. So anticyclone, this is an anticyclone here. Isobars are there. And these are the isobar here. ये isobar है. Isobar mean line joining places with equal pressure. Isobar. Here the isobar, because highest pressure at the middle and towards periphery the pressure gradually decreases here. So to maintain equilibrium, wind will blow from the center towards the periphery, wind will blow. Center to periphery, wind will blow. And this type of, to maintain equilibrium, it will blow. And this is what is the divergence. Because of the divergence, there is vertically sinking of the air from above. Air will sink from above. ऊपर से air जो है नीचे sink करेगा. This sinking of the air leads to what? Here you will have the clear sky, isn't it? Here you have clear sky, that is no cloud. No cloud you will find here. Clear sky, no cloud you have in the upper part. Sorry. So if there is no cloud and it is clear sky, will it give rainfall? There will be no rainfall. So the anticyclones are generally associated with no rainfall, clear sky. Okay. So anticyclone are associated with descending winds which leads to clear sky development and no rainfall. There will be no rainfall here. Clear sky development and there will be no rainfall. Okay. Remember, anticyclones generally cover very large area. Okay. Anticyclone covers large area. Next point. Anticyclone generally covers very large areas. They generally cover very large area. Anticyclones generally cover very large area. Okay. As I have just mentioned, if you look at the gradient is also very low, pressure gradient H compared to a cyclone, pressure gradient is very low. Low pressure gradient, less pressure gradient. I said it has very less or very low pressure gradient. Very less or low pressure gradient. Okay. there is like subsidence of the air. I said anticyclone. That's why the velocity of wind is very less. So the velocity of the wind is also low. So velocity of wind is also low in this case because gradient is less gradient, no rainfall will be there. Next point, in an anticyclone, the wind generally circulated in a clockwise manner in northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Am I correct here? How you see how it happens? Let us see these things. Let us say this is a high pressure cell, this is a high pressure cell. The wind here will blow from here. It's supposed to blow like this. It will be like this. Are you getting the things? Here it is in a clockwise circulation. क्यों ये होगा? Because of the impact of Coriolis force. You remember that? Due to the impact of the Coriolis force it happened. And in this case, here it is towards the left. In southern hemisphere toward the left, you know it. So it will be like anti-clockwise. देखिए आप anti-clockwise circulation. Anti-clockwise circulation in southern hemisphere. Clockwise circulation in northern hemisphere. अगर ये इक्वेटर है, if this is the equator here, this is the equator, 0 degree equator, ये northern hemisphere है और ये southern hemisphere है, then you will have like this type of circulation. But in case of the cyclone, it is opposite to this, isn't it? If you remember, We have already discussed this in the beginning while I discussed the wind system. Remember, high pressure cell is the anticyclonic condition. High pressure cell is the anticyclonic condition, and this high pressure cell is responsible for subsidence of the air also, because there is air subsidence is there, subsidence of the air. There will be no cloud formation and there will be no rainfall at all. Okay. So, in case of a anticyclone, the surface pressure is high, pressure gradient is low, temperature gradient is also very low, wind direction, how it is? It is clockwise in northern hemisphere, anti-clockwise in southern hemisphere. If you look at the size, it is very large one. Airflow is divergence type. Vertically, if you will say there is subsidence. Cloudiness will not be there, no cloud, no precipitation. So, these are the characteristics of an anticyclone. I hope you got whatever I said. If not, let me dictate it. I have already given what is an anticyclone. I told you. These are high pressure cells associated with the divergence of air from center towards the periphery. Second point, I said that if there is concentric circle, like isobars are like this, highest pressure at the center, wind will try to go away from the center toward the periphery. Divergence is there. Because of the divergence, we have subsidence of the air. So, sinking of air will sink. So, air will sink. अगर नीचे से ऊपर जाते हो तो टेम्परेचर घटता है. From above if you come down, then temperature will increase. So, ये cold air comparatively warming effect होता है यहाँ पे. टेम्परेचर थोड़ा बढ़ जाता है. डिसेंडिंग एयर राइज इन द टेम्परेचर. टेम्परेचर बढ़ेगा तो क्या है? ड्राइनेस बढ़ेगा. सो कंपेरेटिवली ड्रायर एयर यू विल फाइंड हियर. देयर विल बी नो रेनफॉल इन दिस केस, नो क्लाउड फॉर्मेशन इन दिस केस. दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव सेड. एंटीसाइक्लोन्स आर associated with, I have written here, associated with descending wind which leads to clear sky development and no rainfall. Again I have said anticyclone generally covers very large areas. Cyclone में छोटा area था, anticyclone large area. As compared to a cyclone, pressure gradient is very low, so the velocity of the wind is also very less. Pressure gradient is low, velocity of the wind also very less. Again I said the anticyclone, if you will say in an anticyclonic circulation, in an anticyclone the winds circulated in a clockwise manner. देखो clockwise manner in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere. And I have shown you these things in this diagram here, how in northern hemisphere goes towards right, in the southern hemisphere towards left. And it is primarily because of what? The Coriolis effect. Coriolis effect leads to this. Okay. So, these are the things associated with the anticyclone. Weather condition during an anticyclonic condition is completely different. Weather conditions. Okay. So, precipitation, there will be no rainfall. Clouds is absent. So, anticyclonic condition rather favorable for the desert development of desert, more favorable for the development of deserts rather than desert की development में ये favorable condition देता है anticyclone. Okay, so these are certain things which I would like to say. Anticyclone you got it. How it is different from the cyclone? Cyclone and anticyclone differentiate कर लेते हैं. चलिए let us see now how to differentiate between a cyclone and a anticyclone. Differentiate between cyclone and anticyclone. Okay. Comparative analysis between anticyclone and साइक्लोन. दोनों में कंपैरेटिव एनालिसिस में करता हूं. पहले हम चलते हैं एंटी साइक्लोन को. and here you know about the cyclone. First point, if I'll say, number one, pressure condition. Here it is high pressure, this side you have low pressure. High pressure cell, low pressure cell. So you can write down here like surface pressure is high. Surface pressure is high. Surface pressure is high. Surface pressure is high in this case. Surface pressure is low in that case. Second point, we can see here, in the case of second point, you will see, if you will go for the pressure gradient, or in case of this it is low pressure gradient, here it is high pressure gradient. Okay. Third point, we have low pressure gradient, high pressure gradient, difference is there. If you will go for the temperature, thermal gradient, thermal gradient, thermal gradient, thermal gradient, here it is low thermal gradient, here it is high thermal gradient. Thermal gradient will be high here. Low thermal gradient in case of anticyclone and high thermal gradient in case of cyclone. This is here. Fourth point, point is you have like direction, wind direction. In case of anticyclone, it is clockwise in northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in southern hemisphere. Here it is anti-clockwise in northern hemisphere and clockwise in southern hemisphere. मैंने अभी यही बताया था मैं आपको. If you look at here, in both the cases, if you'll see, it is completely different here. Okay. High pressure, as I have just said, in case of anticyclone, in case of the anticyclone, it will be like this. But here in case of the low pressure cell, low pressure condition here, the wind will blow from the high pressure to the low pressure. It is in northern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere, how it will be? It will be like, like this. Do you remember this diagram which I have shown you earlier? ये आपको याद है क्या? Do you need any repetition of this? In southern hemisphere, we see here in southern hemisphere, what is there? Let us see. In case of southern hemisphere, if it is a high pressure here, we will have like the movement of the air will be like this. And in this case, okay, so you can see here it is because of this particular anti-clockwise. Here it is. You can see how it is there. देखो आप यहाँ पे wind direction clockwise in north. ये clockwise हुआ ना, ये clockwise हुआ northern hemisphere. southern hemisphere में anti-clockwise. And here देखो overall if you'll see ये इधर जा रही है, ऐसे देख रहे हैं आप. It is going like this. Mean it is anti-clockwise in northern hemisphere. And here if you will see it will be like this. Overall from space if you will see it is like this. So clockwise in southern hemisphere. आप ये सब देख के आपको पता चल जा रहा होगा कि how it is this. I hope you remember that which you have discussed earlier. I hope you remember that. Here is a question from your friend. Does northern India experience anticyclone during the winter because the skies are clear and no clouds? Yes, during the winter season, the northern India has anticyclonic condition. Winter में होता है ये. Winter में generally in India you have anticyclonic conditions. It is true. In winter we have the anticyclonic conditions. Anticyclonic condition is like this. Cyclone. So cyclone and anticyclone differences. I hope you got it. It is clear to you. ये wind direction में पहले भी बताया था, याद होगा आपको. So these are the fourth point here. Fifth point on this differences of anticyclone, and here it is cyclone. Fifth point we will see. So we can have this here like as I said about the in anticyclone size, if you look at large size, vertical air motion if you will see. What is the case of vertical air motion? In case of anticyclone, it is sinking of the air, subsidence sinking of air. Here, in case of cyclone, rising of air. Vertically. Vertical rise in the air here. Vertical air mass is sinking here, rising here. Vertically. So this is like a very important characteristics of these two. If I'll go for the division, a very important division is this one. Anything else? Cloud, weather condition. Weather condition. If you look at the weather condition, here you have the clear sky, silent and stable atmosphere, and here cloudy sky, most disturbed atmosphere, with rainfall, with no rainfall, stable atmosphere, rainfall is there. See the difference in terms of weather conditions also there. In between these two, there is a great difference between the weather condition between these two also. Hope you got it. Weather conditions also different here, completely different weather conditions here. Cyclone and anticyclone. If you look at their speed of movement is there, slow. In this case you have, in case of anticyclone, and here it is the cyclone, difference hai. If I'll talk about the dynamism, speed of movement, if you look at this, it is very slow, sometimes stagnant even. It is very slow, sometimes stagnant. But this side you have fast moving, average is 30 to 50 km per hour, 30 to 50 km per hour. Okay. Wind speed is less, wind speed is more. You can write down this point also. If I'll go for the wind speed, slow, here very high velocity wind system, slow flowing wind, very high velocity wind in that case. So these are the differences here, cyclone and anticyclone. I hope you got some idea now about these two. Some idea you got about the cyclone and anticyclone? कुछ तो आइडिया हुआ? I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay. Someone here says that sir, you didn't got the diagram. This diagram you didn't got it, isn't it? ये cyclone. देखो यहाँ, look at here. ये अगर लो प्रेशर है, इधर हाई प्रेशर पेरीफेरी में, विंड आर सपोज टू फ्लो इन दिस वे. बट मैंने आपको कहा था एंड यू नो इट, नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर में राइट के तरफ घूमेगी, तो ये घूम गया ऐसे, राइट. सो बिकॉज गोइंग दिस इज गति की दिशा में दाहिने की तरफ. देखो इन द फ्लो डायरेक्शन टुवर्ड्स राइट, ये होगा ऐसे. इंस्टेड ऑफ स्ट्रेट गोइंग लाइक दिस, इंस्टेड ऑफ कमिंग स्ट्रेट इट विल टर्न लाइक दिस. इन केस ऑफ कमिंग स्ट्रेट राइट जाएगा. सो ओवरऑल फ्रॉम above if you'll see, because the lowest pressure is here, wind will converge here but with a twist like this. So overall ये जो circulation है ना, ऐसे घूमेगा. This circulation will be like this, anti-clockwise. So it is anti-clockwise circulation मैंने कहा. But in southern hemisphere में देखो, if we will see the lowest pressure is here, periphery has high pressure, so wind is blowing. But towards left it will turn, towards left it will turn, here towards left, here also towards left. So overall the circulation will be like this in a clockwise manner. The overall from above if you see the circulation as a system, ये पूरे को एक system अगर लोगे, ये पूरे all these are as a system. If you see the circulation will be in a clockwise manner in southern hemisphere. That's what I said. Okay, आप इसको कोलिस फोर्स से जोड़ के देखिए. Someone asking, sir, life period of a anticyclone कितना है? Life period of a anticyclone, if you see, anticyclone high life period, this is comparatively longer than the cyclone. Cyclone से ज़्यादा long time होता है. Generally, it is longer than this. Okay, so these are certain things. Hope you got it. Hope that you got these things. Clear, eh? Okay. So these are the points which I was supposed to tell you. Acha. Is it clear up to this cyclone anticyclone? Only two things are there, like मैं बोला था jet stream and your index cycle or naming of the cyclone. I haven't provided you material, so please wait for that. आपको material अभी तक उसके ऊपर नहीं दिया हूँ, so I'll give you and I'll let you know about that. Okay, I'll take some time on that. Now we'll move on to a new topic. Climatic classification. Climatic का यही है, एक बहुत ही important point now I'm going to discuss, and this is about the major climatic regions of the world. Okay, so climatology का और एक हिस्सा है, बहुत ही important है, जो major climatic and natural regions of the world. Okay, so I hope you haven't done that things. We'll do this. Is it clear to all of you? चले फिर नया टॉपिक विल स्टार्ट नाउ. दिस नेमिंग ऑफ साइक्लोन एंड जेट स्ट्रीम, दोनों just wait for some time. After giving you material and you will study that, I will discuss both. So next topic is major climatic and natural regions of the world. I am asking you whether we have done this or not. I think we haven't done. मुझे जहाँ तक याद है हम लोग ये किए नहीं है अभी तक, है ना? Do you remember? Okay. Someone is asking me, sir, which is more dangerous, anticyclone or cyclone? Definitely cyclone. Anticyclone slow moving है, and cyclone we have more very fast devastating. Okay, there is no naming of the anticyclone also. Major climatic and natural regions of the world. Here you see I have given major climatic region and natural regions. Climate, you know, average of weather condition for more than 30 years is known as climate. Weather क्या है? Weather is the sum total of temperature, condition, precipitation, pressure conditions, humidity, cloudiness of a region. This is weather. Average condition of the temperature, pressure condition, cloudiness, wind velocity, etc. is your weather. Climate is sum total of all the for 30 years or more. So, you know, weather is an average condition of temperature, pressure, wind velocity, precipitation, and cloudiness of sky of a region. For a short time period. It is called as weather. Weather is an average condition of temperature, pressure, wind velocity, precipitation and cloudiness of sky of a region for a short time period. This is what is called as the weather. Now what is climate? Climate is the average of weather conditions for 30 years or more. For 30 years or more. Okay, 30 साल या ज़्यादा का जैसे कंडीशन जो होगा, this is called as what? This is called as climate. Sum total of weather condition for more than 30 years. So हमारा जो क्वेश्चन ये जो था यहाँ पे बोले मेजर क्लाइमेटिक एंड नेचुरलिज्म्स. वेदर इज average condition of the temperature, pressure, wind velocity, precipitation, cloudiness of the sky of a region for a short time period. But a long time period of weather condition is climate. Now having a region. What is a region? What is a region? तो रीजन क्या होता है? Region, it is a geographical area with homogeneity in a geographical, in any geographical parameter. In any geographical parameter. It is a geographical area with homogeneity in any of the geographical parameter. For an example, climatic region है. If it is climatic region, a geographical area with homogeneity in the climatic condition. So, it is a geographical area with homogeneity in climatic conditions, like homogeneity in terms of temperature, homogeneity in terms of rainfall, homogeneity in terms of cloudiness, like this. So, this is here is very important. Homogeneity in terms of any of the geographical parameter here. It is a geographical area with homogeneity in any of the geographical parameters. Climatic region is a geographical area with homogeneity in climatic conditions. So, based on this we can say, if the climate is monsoon time, monsoon, example you can give, monsoon climatic region, hot desert climatic region, Mediterranean climatic region, etc. Likewise, we can give this different climate regions. So, how to divide the climate of the world? Major climatic regions of the world. How will able to classify them? How will able to classify them? Major climatic regions of the world. Major climatic regions of the world. My friends, I hope you remember, and I did said something earlier also, that you need to see certain things about the climatic regions of the world. Have you seen your booklet? And this is that booklet which you got, chapter number 29, climatic regions. ये पढ़ा है क्या आपने? If not, you have to study this chapter number 29 from this booklet which we have supplied to you. Chapter number 29. You need to study this, okay? Or you can see the G.C. Leong book for these particular regions. Okay, fine. I will now discuss about this. What are the climatic regions of the world, and how we will have, like, major climatic and natural regions of the world. All of us were well aware, temperature is a major factor for differences in the climatic condition in different regions. We know that in this globe, in this earth, this region, equatorial region, had more temperature, so it is a torrid zone. This is the tropical area. Here cold condition at both the pole, this is polar area. These two are polar regions. Middle part you have tropical area, equatorial and tropical regions. I have already discussed about this, if you remember. We will discuss about that tropical climate, polar climate, temperate climate, if you remember. Let me remind you for 2 minutes, then we will discuss about each of these climate. Okay. I have given here the values here of these regions, like this is 90 degree, 60 degree, 45 degree, 30 degree, 10 degree, 0 degree, 10 degree north, 30 degree north, 45 degree north, 60 degree north and 90 degree north. It is south. ओके सो ये जो है आपका प्रोजेक्शन है, उसको हमने मैप बनाया यहाँ पे, उसी की प्रोजेक्शन के ऊपर आई हैव प्रिपेयर्ड ए मैप हियर एंड यू ऑल आर वेल अवेयर दिस एंटायर रीजन्स which is called the torrid zone. Torrid zone is between the 30 degree north to 30 degree south. This is the area of torrid zone, you know it. Isn't it? This is the torrid zone. If you remember, we have already, to some extent, we have discussed about this is torrid zone or tropical zone. Tropical zone it is. Tropical zone, and 30 to 60 is the temperate zone. Here it is the temperate zone. (30 to 60 is temperate zone). This is the temperate zone, and beyond this you have the polar zone. Polar zone. This is also the polar zone. This point you know it. You are well aware. आपको इसके बारे में पता है. Hope you are well aware about this. Tropical zone is a high temperature zone. Polar zone is cold zone where there is, cold polar area. Temperate zone is in between. Now, among these, because of the, the inclined axis of the earth and the sun rays which is falling over this earth surface, there is a variation in the intensity of sunshine, sun insolation, and which leads to the development of this different type of climatic conditions. We will see that what are those climate and how it is there and all we need to see. Let me take some of your whatever you have given here question. Okay. Here is a very interesting question. Can another type of precipitation except rainfall like snowfall or hailstorm etc. happen due to cyclonic activity? Yes. Cyclone may lead to even hailstone also. Yes, it is, because sudden rise in the air parcel. The upcoming cyclones are always in the news. They are even named by the IMD, but we have heard of any anticyclone. They doesn't even have any names. See that IMD or World Meteorological Department has given name of the cyclone only. No anticyclone is named yet, because the impact is very less. Impact is soothing. Impact is like, it is very gradual, not very destructive. That is the major cause. चलिए देखते हैं क्लाइमेटिक रीजन्स पे. लेट्स लुक एट नाउ. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू सम आइडिया हियर. आप इसको समझ में पाएगा. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, दैट फ्रॉम 30 डिग्री साउथ to 30 degree north, this is tropical zone. 30 degree to 60 degree temperate zone, 60 to 90 degree is polar zone. So while you will see the temperature, you know, gradually from the equator to the poles, if you go, temperature gradually decreases. From equator to the poles, temperature gradually decreases. So that's why more temperature at the low latitude, I mean between 0 to 30 degree latitude, here you have more temperature. It is known as tropical climate. Between Tropic of Cancer to Tropic of Capricorn, generally it should be from 23.5 degree north to 23.5 degree south. But for our convenience only, we are going for 30 degree north to 30 degree south, because there is no uniformity in the distribution of continent and the ocean in the earth surface. Because of unequal distribution of continent and the ocean, there is a variation in their characteristics. We usually roughly take, that's why 30 degree north to 30 degree south. 30 degree north to 30 degree south is generally taken now. Now my best, I would like to say one thing here, that temperate cyclone is a, in fact, intermediate zone between tropical and the polar. Exchange of heat is there. आपको पता है अर्थ में अगर इसको देखा जाए, let me draw this and let me tell you, if this is the earth here, right, this is the equator here. This is the temperature or heat surplus zone. Heat surplus zone. This is the heat or temperature or heat temperature or heat surplus zone. It is temperature deficit zone. Temperature deficit zone, and in between these two is, ये दोनों के बीच में टेम्परेचर एक्सचेंज जोन. टेम्परेचर एक्सचेंज जोन. 0 degree, 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree, 0, 30, 60 and 90. I hope you all were aware about this. So because of this, what happened? The polar area is very cold. Polar region is very cold. Equatorial region has temperature surplus, thermal surplus zone, and between these two is the exchange of temperature takes place here. The zone here, there is exchange of temperature. There is an exchange of temperature in this zone. There is an exchange of temperature in this zone. Okay. I hope you got it. So based on this, ये सरप्लस जोन है तो ट्रॉपिकल जोन है, ये पोलर जोन में डेफिसिट, टेम्परेचर जोन दिस. So now, as I have just mentioned, look at here in this case. I mean, this zone from '60 to 30. We have one zone, 30 to 60 you have one, this zone in this case is called as a middle zone, hot, wet, equatorial zone, equatorial area. I said hot and wet equatorial region. This one is, I said a hot, wet, this is hot, this is also hot, tropical area, hot tropical, hot tropical. I said up to 30° tropical, but 0 to 10° we have specifically we have given inside the tropical. There is a hot, wet equatorial regions. We have defined that. Beyond this, we have the, if it is hot, here it is warm. If it is hot, it is warm. Here you have cool. Here you have cold. ऐसे होगा ना, hot, warm, cool, cold. ऐसे होगा, temperature घटेगा. If you will go up, so it is hot, tropical, warm, temperate, cool, temperate, warm, temperate, and cool, temperate you have. Warm, temperate, warm, temperate, cool, temperate, cool, temperate, and cold, polar. Cold region is polar region, polar cold region, cold polar area, cold polar. आपको ये जो मैंने कहा टेम्परेचर के हिसाब से अगर हम जाते हैं तो इक्वेटर से ऊपर जब जाएंगे टेम्परेचर ऐसे घटता जाएगा. इधर भी हॉट, वार्म, कूल, कोल्ड, हॉट, वार्म, कूल, कोल्ड. हॉट और इक्वेटोरियल, इक्वेटर के बाद ट्रॉपिकल, ट्रॉपिकल टेम्परेट, टेम्परेट पोलर, इक्वेटोरियल, ट्रॉपिकल, टेम्परेट पोलर. दिस इज व्हाट mirror image of those north and south I have given here only because we should able to do the things. I hope you got it, all of you. Done. Yes, done with this, completed. आपको ये समझ में आया कि नहीं? टेम्परेचर इक्वेटर से जैसे पोल के तरफ जाएंगे घटता जाएगा. इक्वेटर के पास जो एरिया है उसको बोलते हैं इक्वेटोरियल रीजन है, 0 डिग्री में इक्वेटोरियल रीजन है. देन यू हैव ट्रॉपिकल रीजन्स. नो डाउट इक्वेटोरियल इज ऑल्सो ट्रॉपिकल एरिया, बट स्पेसिफिकली बिकॉज नियर द इक्वेटर वी नेम इट एज इक्वेटोरियल रीजन. ओके, equatorial, tropical, temperate, polar, equatorial, tropical, temperate, polar. Now equatorial regions will have hot, but rainfall is also more, so hot and wet. Hot and wet equatorial, hot, wet equatorial, hot tropical, warm temperate, cool temperate, cold polar and cold polar. These are the climatic regions in general. Based on the latitude we will find out. I hope now you remember all these. Is it clear to you? Is it clear to you all these climatic regions? On an average this is the condition. There is a variation, no doubt. आप बोलेंगे सर 23.5 डिग्री should be the actual line. Yes, it is. But we are taking 30 degree for the convenience and because there is unequal distribution of continent and the ocean. That is the cause. Okay. Now for the major climatic and natural regions, मैं ये जो बॉक्स है इसका एक हिस्सा को लूंगा और मॉडल बनाऊंगा अभी. Now I'll take one part of this and I'll prepare a model for you to know about the climatic regions of the world. देखिए आप, this is equatorial region 10 degree, this is 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, we know that this is the regions, this is hot, warm, cool, cold. यही तो बोला था मैं, hot, warm, cool, cold. Okay. Hot, warm, cool, cold. In the hot, warm and cool, cold, you see this region, it is here is the equatorial, hot equatorial region. This is the equatorial region. This is here is the tropical region. This is here is the temperate region. It is warm temperate. This is also cool temperate, and it is cold polar. देखिए ये जो रीजन्स मैंने कहा अभी आप यहाँ पे लिख सकते हैं. दिस इज द हॉट एंड वेट इक्वेटोरियल climate, and here it is cold polar climate, cold polar climate. And I said this is here is, let us say this is here is 0 degree, 10 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree. 0, 10, 30, 45, 60 and 90 degree. This is here. Let us see, here is an idealized continent which is extending from the equator to the pole. Let us say, this is a continent here. which is extending from the equator to the pole, 0 degree to 90 degree. I am taking an idealized condition here. Then 0 to 10 degree, definitely I will have the hot wet equatorial climate uniformly throughout, and cold polar climate 60 to 90 degree. But in between, अगर ये एक continent है, तो let us say both side you have ocean, इधर भी ocean है, ओके, इधर भी ocean है, ocean is there, दोनों साइड ocean है, बीच में continent है. If it is like this, then definitely you will have the continent का ये जो right hand side है, ocean के किनारे है, and this region will called as what? इसको क्या कहेंगे फिर? हम इसको क्या कहेंगे? What will say to this region? This region as, ये कौन सा तट है? Right side is east. It is eastern margin. Eastern margin. Right side is eastern margin of the climate here. And same way, if we'll see, now look at here, at this side. This is here is the case. अगर ये कॉन्टिनेंट है तो लेफ्ट साइड क्या हो गया? ये हो गया आपका वेस्टर्न मार्जिन, है ना, वेस्टर्न मार्जिन होगा कि नहीं? ये जो बॉक्स है ये वेस्टर्न मार्जिन होगा लेफ्ट साइड, ये जो बॉक्स है ये ईस्टर्न मार्जिन हो जाएंगे. मिडिल में क्या होगा? मिडिल विल बी सेंट्रल कॉन्टिनेंटल पार्ट, सेंट्रल कॉन्टिनेंटल होगा कि नहीं? ये मिडिल पार्ट विल बी सेंट्रल कॉन्टिनेंटल. इधर है ओशियन के बगल में ईस्टर्न मार्जिन, ये वेस्टर्न मार्जिन, मिडिल में सेंट्रल कॉन्टिनेंटल. यू सी दीज थिंग्स. This is here is a box I have given. Idealized continent we have taken up here. An idealized continent, both side you have the ocean. This continent is extending from 0 to 90 degree latitude. And what type of climate we will get here? Let us see. At 0 to 10 degree you have hot wet equatorial climate. 60 to 90 degree we have polar climate. But in between there are a lot of variety of climates we will find out. How many boxes you have now? You have total 11 boxes, you see, 9 plus 2, 11. So 11 boxes you are having, mean 11 type of climates. So we can say, now you can write down, आप ये box बना लेंगे. We can, I am giving you some time, please draw this box, it is essential for us. And box बनाने के बाद आप done लिखिए, so that I will start. Please do this. All of you are requested to draw this box, please do this. Okay, this was already done earlier, the box was done but not explanation, I think. Yes. Now why I am doing this, because in detail you are getting question from this particular part. We have only done okay. So if you remember, अच्छा मुझे ये तो किया था तो बताओ ना यार, ऐसे you let me know about this. What is the name of this climate? This is, yes, I said LCM. This is Laurentia. This one is China. This is monsoon. Isn't it? Here SSS, if you remember, Siberian, steppe, and here I said savanna. In terms of wind system, I have said these things. Savanna. Then you have BMH, if you remember, British Mediterranean and hot desert type. These are the climate we have already just given the structure. Did I explain in detail about this? The box structure of world's climate zone has been done before at types of the easterly and westerly wind, but did I discuss in detail about all these? I think it's not. So we will discuss about each of them here. So one by one in detail we will discuss. Okay. Okay. So each of these climatic type, now please can you please confirm these things that whether we have done this climatic type? नहीं किया ना वो, देखो आप, explanation is not done. Okay, fine. So because you are getting questions in the prelim as well as in the mains, both in prelim and mains you are getting from these climatic regions. Okay, so we will do in detail of this now. If you remember, I said at that time to memorize the things like, cool temperate western margin, warm temperate eastern margin, hot tropical central continental. You remember that? I did say it like this type, we should know. Alternate name of the climate. Climate की alternate name कैसे पता चलेगा? If you want to know about the alternate name of the climate, we can see here, see here, warm temperate सेंट्रल कॉन्टिनेंटल कौन सा है? स्टेपी क्लाइमेट, isn't it? कूल टेम्परेट ईस्टर्न मार्जिन ब्रिटिश क्लाइमेट. ओके, हॉट ट्रॉपिकल ईस्टर्न मार्जिन मॉनसून क्लाइमेट. यू गॉट इट? हॉट ट्रॉपिकल ईस्टर्न मार्जिन मॉनसून क्लाइमेट. सो ये जो है, दिस इज इज मॉनसून क्लाइमेट. यू विल गेट दिस इज steppe climate. You will get this is British climate. Okay, so this type, alternate name for all this climatic type also you will find. Alternate name for this climatic type: central continental, warm temperate central continental, cool temperate western margin, hot tropical eastern margin. So the climatic types, whatever is there, these climatic types, different types of climate which you will find out in these regions, different variety of climates which you will find out in these regions. Okay, different variety of climates which you will find out in these regions. In this box which you have has different names based on this combination. We can give alternate names. Let us look at one by one in detail. पहला हम देखते हैं hot, wet, equatorial climate. I hope now you remember all these. आप अभी तक याद हो गया होगा. And easterly and westerly wind, if which I have done earlier, if you remember, now it will be very easy for you to memorize the things. यहाँ पे बहुत easy हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि आप देखो यहाँ पे we have the wind here, like if I'll go for this wind here, कौन सा wind है यहाँ पे? Here if I'll see the wind which is coming from this way, wind is coming in this way, isn't it? ये ईस्टर्लीज विंड है. ट्रॉपिकल क्लाइमेट इज इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय ईस्टर्लीज विंड. टेम्परेट क्लाइमेट इज इन्फ्लुएंस्ड बाय व्हिच विंड? देखो ये वेस्टर्लीज विंड है ना. टेम्परेट क्लाइमेट बाय वेस्टर्लीज विंड, यू रिमेंबर दैट. एंड पोलर क्लाइमेट इज बाय ईस्टर्लीज. Polar easterlies. These are the wind type here. This is what we have done earlier. We have seen this thing earlier, if you remember. Now, wind, easterly wind, westerly wind. This is here is easterly wind of both north and south. Westerly wind here, westerly wind here. A polar easterlies. We have already discussed this. If you don't remember, please do refer the class note which you have on wind system. And I hope you will get the things. If you have any problem, let me know. But it is there. We have already discussed this. So first topic today will be on this particular region, hot, wet, equatorial climate. आज का पहला टॉपिक जो रहेगा हमारा हॉट वेट इक्वेटोरियल क्लाइमेट. वी विल सी द हॉट वेट इक्वेटोरियल क्लाइमेट. फर्स्ट आई विल गो फॉर द हॉट वेट इक्वेटोरियल क्लाइमेट. माय फ्रेंड्स, दिस इज ऑल दीज आर गिवन. मैंने कहा था आपको पहले भी, ये जीसी लियोंग का बुक में चैप्टर नंबर 15 है. चैप्टर 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 and 25 chapters from chapter numbers from G.C. Liang. आप ये देख भी सकते हो. दिस बुक गो चेंग लियोंग सर्टिफिकेट फिजिकल एंड ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी. In that book, chapter 15, 16, 17, chapter number 15 hot wet equatorial, 16 monsoon, 17 savanna, 18 hot desert, 19 Mediterranean, 20, 21, 23, 22, 23, 24, 25, 15 to 25 chapter. एक बॉक्स एक चैप्टर है. एंड आई विल अगेन रिक्वेस्ट यू ऑल टू स्टडी एवरी डे. आज हम ये डिस्कस कर लेंगे, 3 मानसून, सवाना, हट डेजर्ट हम कर लेंगे. ओके, सो that will do. And next we will go for the other climatic types also subsequently. So I am requesting within 2 days you have to do everything. ये सभी चैप्टर पढ़ना है. If you have some problem or unable to study the things, then I have given this booklet. ये booklet पे हमारा जो चैप्टर नंबर 28 है क्लाइमेटिक क्लासिफिकेशन, चैप्टर नंबर 20 to 29, चैप्टर नंबर 29 climate is given, 29 chapter in this booklet. You can study that. If you have no time to study GC Liang, you go for this our material. It is a crux of everything. In GC Liang, explanation is also there. If you have time, go for GC Liang. If you don't have time, please study it from our material directly after attending classes. Okay, so I request you all to at least study so that it will be better. Let us start now. First one, hot wet equatorial climate. Okay, hot wet equatorial climate. Hot wet equatorial climate. Hot wet equatorial climate. Acha, you just remind me in the group here itself that what are the continents it is done. Continent wise मैंने एक मैपिंग किया था, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, साउथ अमेरिका और अफ्रीका. आई थिंक whether you have done it or not, you just let us know so that I will go for this if required. Okay, every day mapping थोड़ा थोड़ा कराएंगे. I told you earlier also. So please remind me today itself which all topics we have covered already. क्या क्या covered हुआ है एक बार लिख लीजिए. So because I have to go for the mapping here in this case also. So what I am saying is This is a hot wet equatorial climate. This is found universally in the world from 0 to 10 degree latitude. I mean, in the equatorial region you will find this 0 to 10 degree latitude mean equatorial region. So first I will go for the location. ये हम 4 पॉइंट पे discuss करेंगे. I will go for location. Every climate will have, we'll see that location where you will find. Then climatic characteristics. Then flora and fauna. वहाँ पे क्या मिलता है, plant, animal, what is that. Then you will go for human and economic aspect and some challenges and problems. So in this way we can have this, like you know, a group of different things we need to see here. Hot wet equatorial climate, I said it is location wise. If you will see hot wet equatorial climate, the first point here I will say is it is found between 5 degree north to 10 degree south. 5 degree north to 10 degree south. Five degree north to 10 degree south. It is found between 5 degree north to 10 degree south. Okay, it is between 5 degree north to 10 degree south. I said, why 5 degree north? I said earlier 10 degree to 10 degree. Now why 5 degree north? It is primarily because in northern hemisphere you have more continent, in southern hemisphere you have more ocean. At the equatorial region, if you will see, at the equatorial region in southern hemisphere more area than the northern hemisphere. This is the major cause. Okay. Right. Hope you got it now. Best developed over Africa, South America and best developed over Africa, South America and Asia. Africa, South America and Asia. See, if it is 0 degree latitude, can anyone tell me how many continents entirely over the northern hemisphere? कितने कॉन्टिनेंट है जो पूरी तरह से नॉर्दर्न हेमिस्फीयर में ही है? Anyone who can tell me how many continents are there entirely in northern hemisphere? Only 2 continents entire northern hemisphere. This is northern hemisphere and this is southern hemisphere. Only 2 continents entirely northern hemisphere there. One is Europe, another one is North America. Europe and North America, they are entirely in northern hemisphere. Likewise, there are 2 continents which are entirely in southern hemisphere also, and which includes Australia and Antarctica. Australia and Antarctica. They are in the southern hemisphere only. So there are 3 remaining continents which are in the through which the equator passes. I mean, one is Africa, second is Asia, and third is South America. So the equatorial climate is found in 3 continents: Africa, Asia and South America. Equatorial, thank you. So equatorial climate is found in these 3 continents only. Now very importantly, we have already seen one thing here, only 2 continents, fine. We will look at now Africa, Asia, South America, 3 continents through which only in the 3 continents, these 3 continents that the equator passes. Now let us see one by one. कहाँ पे है ये? Where in Africa? Look at here. We'll find out then where in Africa, where in Asia, where in South America. पहले देखिए ये कहाँ पे है? ये कॉन्टिनेंट क्या है देखिए. See, I have done here 3 blocks. This is here is the this region, it is the Asia part. Here it is the Asia. Here is Africa, and this one is South America. South America. Now, where in this continent, where in this countries you will have this type of climate, we'll see here. ये जो है अगर आप देखेंगे यहाँ से ऐसे आओ, देखो आप ये ऐसा है. This is the equatorial climate. In this region, we have the equatorial climate. And here, यहाँ पे देखो, this is the equatorial climatic region. Because the equator is passing through it, the equator is passing through this region, है ना? This is the equator here. That's why. This is the equator here. And here also it is the equator here. (0 degree). See, in the three cases, you have equator passing through this region, and that's why equatorial climate. But here, this entire region has equatorial climate. ये जितना दिखा रहा है ना, ये सभी equatorial climate है. And here is also a country known as Singapore. Singapore also has equatorial climate. Here is a country known as Brunei. Okay. So the countries, which countries are there, मैं अगर ये देखा हूँ इससे countries कौन कौन सा है इस पे, what are the countries which is part of this? If I'll go for this, it is Malaysia, then we have Singapore. You see this Singapore, this is here is Brunei. Brunei is a country here, and here it is Indonesia. Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Indonesia, all these are the countries where you have the equatorial climate in Asia. Asia में ये regions है. और अफ्रीका में देखो, this is the region where you have the river Congo or Zaire River Valley. Here you have the river Amazon River Valley. In these regions you have equatorial climate, you see here. In all these regions you have the equatorial climate. You can see these things. These are the region, here we have the equatorial climate. In Africa, Congo or Zaire River Valley. In South America, Amazon River Valley. In Southeast Asia, if you will see, in the Southeast Asia, in Asia, it is the Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Indonesia, these regions you have. These regions. Please draw this. Now, I said that it is between 10 to 10 degree or 5 degree not to 10 degree south here. But you see, it is absent in this eastern part of Africa and western part of South America. The causes for this one is what? पहले बना लो इसको. More importantly, you please draw this diagram first. Please draw this diagram. Kindly draw this diagram. Is it done? Papua New Guinea, yes, Papua New Guinea also there. I haven't marked it here. Papua New Guinea is here. Either hoga Papua New Guinea also a part of, yes. Fifth one, Papua New Guinea. You can see that? No. Yes, Papua New Guinea. This is also a part of this equatorial climate. Yes, it is. It has two different area. In fact, as you know, the equatorial climate, if you'll see in these regions, as I have just mentioned, Africa, South America, here it is Asia. So these regions here, this Papua New Guinea regions also have this type of climatic conditions as I just mentioned. Okay, Papua New Guinea, equatorial climate you have. You are right, absolutely correct here. So if it is done, I will move now to climatic category. But the question here is, यहाँ पे ये क्यों नहीं है? इस तरफ जो है ना, ये regions पे क्यों नहीं है? What is there that ये regions पे यहाँ पे ये नहीं, क्योंकि इधर एक mountain है. आपको पता है ये? Here is a mountain. Which mountain is this? This is a mountain here known as which mountain? Andes mountain, Andes. Andes mountain is here. And this side you have a volcanic mountain plateau are there. Volcanic Ethiopian plateau इधर ऊपर है. Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount, you can see that in your atlas. This is volcanic mountains are there. Mountains. A volcanic mountains are there in this case. That's why height is more in this area. That's why height is more in this area. Got it? Height ज़्यादा है तो because of height or altitude there is change in the climatic type. I hope you know about that. Whenever there is change in the altitude, there is a change in the altitude. Altitude अगर बढ़ेगा, height अगर बढ़ता है कहीं पे, तो what happen here? Because of that also climate will change because temperature will decrease. Decrease in temperature will be there. That's the cause. Okay, there is a decrease in the temperature. As I have mentioned here, that this is here is the region where you have climatic, different climate you are getting, equatorial climate you are getting in these particular regions. So here at the eastern margin it is absent because of the highland and the mountainous regions of volcanic mountains of Africa. And this side in South America because of Andes mountain of South America. Okay, so these are the conditions here. Let us look at now climatic characteristics. क्या characteristics climatic characteristics है यहाँ पे? Second one, climatic characteristics. Climatic characteristics. What are the climatic characteristics of this region? क्या climatic characteristics है यहाँ? First and foremost characteristics of the climate is high temperature throughout the year, और पहला है consistently high temperature throughout the year. Throughout the year, consistently high temperature throughout the year. पहला सबसे important point यही है, consistently high temperature throughout the year. The greatest and most important characteristics is this. So it has a winter less climate. no winter. Average temperature is more than 23 डिग्री सेल्सियस. 23 to 25 डिग्री सेल्सियस उससे ज्यादा होगा. एवरेज टेम्परेचर बिकॉज हेवी रेनफॉल, रेनफॉल भी ज्यादा होता है यहाँ पे, टेम्परेचर थोड़ा सा कम हो जाएगा इसलिए एवरेज में, बिकॉज एवरी ईयर देयर इज रेनफॉल, एवरी डे देयर इज रेनफॉल. So this is a very important one point. Average temperature is more than 23 degrees Celsius. Fourth point is no month without rain, without rainfall. That is almost every day, almost every day, late afternoon rainfall called as whatever convectional. Convectional rainfall called as 4 o'clock rain. 4 o'clock rain. 4 बज गया तो बारिश आ गया. 4 बज गया तो बारिश आ गया. 4 o'clock rain. Consistently high temperature throughout the year. Winterless climate. There is no winter in this climate. Winterless climate. I said average rainfall, average temperature is more than 23 degrees Celsius. No month without rain. Almost every day late afternoon rainfall. Convectional rainfall. What type of rainfall? Convectional rainfall. Called as the 4 o'clock rain. 4 बज गया बारिश आ गया. 4 o'clock rain. See here rainfall is every day. So what happened here? Because rainfall is more, rainfall is every day. Next point is hot because of high temperature and humid climatic condition. Climatic conditions. Hot and humid climate you have here. Because of this cause only you have hot and humid climate. Climate will be hot and humid climate. See, winterless climate, almost every day there is rainfall. No month without rain, I said. Convectional instability is more, so every day almost in the afternoon rainfall. Okay. Annual average rainfall is more than 250 centimeter. Annual average rainfall is more than 250 cm. I mean throughout the year if you will see the rainfall is there. And average annual is 250 cm or more. In fact more than 400 even we are getting. There is no distinct moisture deficit period. I mean sufficient moisture is available throughout the year. साल भर sufficient moisture बनेंगे. Throughout the year we have sufficient moisture throughout the year I said. We will have here sufficient moisture throughout the year. साल भर जो है ना moisture यहीं पे available है. So these are the conditions here. Heavy rainfall, hot and humid climate, completely different here. Climatic conditions. Hot and humid climatic conditions, annual average rainfall is more than 250 cm. No distinct moisture deficit period. Okay. What type of natural vegetation you will get then? Natural vegetation आपको बताया यहाँ पे मैं नो डिस्टिंक्ट मॉइस्चर डेफिसिट पीरियड. सो फर्स्ट वन इज tropical evergreen vegetation called as tropical rainforest. ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट जिसको कहते हैं, ट्रॉपिकल एवरग्रीन वेजिटेशन, ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट. It is best developed. This tropical rainforest is best developed over Amazon Valley, of South America, called as Selvas, Selvas, Selvas. It is best developed over South America. Okay, it is best developed over South America. It is best developed over South America, Amazon River Valley, and it is called as Selvas there. Primarily here it is called as the Selvas. साउथ अमेरिकन मैंने पहले मैपिंग में कराया था ना, ये दिस रीजन इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज द, ये रीजन को क्या कहेंगे, ये रीजन को मैं कहा दिस रीजन ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज द सेल्वास एरिया. आई सेड दिस रीजन इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज व्हाट, सेल्वास. ये सेल्वास कहते हैं इसको. This region is also called as the Selvas region. This is also called as the Selvas area. Tropical or equatorial rainforest of this region called as Selvas. Okay. Oh, it should be in this region, Selvas. Please rectify. Selvas is here. South America, South America. Selvas is in South America. Please rectify the things. Okay. I hope all of you got this distribution. I said this region has equatorial rainforest. Equatorial rainforest or Selvas in South America. Congo or Zaire Valley also have the same type of forest. This entire region have the same type of forest. Okay. Here is a question, sir, what is the location of Brunei? Brunei is located in Borneo Island. Okay. दिस इज हियर इज ब्रुनेई. ब्रुनेई ये है, ये जो रीजन देखा है मैंने, ये हो गया ब्रुनेई, ये है ब्रुनेई. इट इज बोर्नियो आइलैंड में साइड पे ब्रुनेई है. अनदर क्वेश्चन, सर व्हाई डज द रेनफॉल नॉट अकर्स ड्यूरिंग द मॉर्निंग और नाइट टाइम? व्हाट इज ड्यूरेशन ऑफ द रेनफॉल इन द डे? सी, रेनफॉल अकर्स ड्यू टू कन्वेक्शनल इंस्टेबिलिटी. हाई टेम्परेचर विल बी एट अराउंड 112 to 2 बजे के अंदर होता है. उसके बाद कन्वेक्शनल इंस्टेबिलिटी से the air parcel move upward with moisture and condensation takes place, cloud formation, immediate rainfall. Cumulonimbus cloud every day होता है, heavy rainfall it is there every day. This is the cause every day, because of convectional instability there is rainfall. Okay. So you got some idea. I will continue with this. Okay. After the break we will continue with this. I will take you to all these regions, like ये regions में climatic characteristics, natural vegetation, ह्यूमन एंड इकोनॉमी, challenges and problem actually this location ये सब देखेंगे in all climatic type. So chapter number 15 GC Leong, this is equatorial climate which we are discussing. You can see that. Do study, and we will meet again after the break. Let's have the lunch break now. So thank you very much. If any problem, do ask me. Thank you.